Fate decided.
Let's get this party started.
Craving something scary.
Hello, Sydney. It's an honor.
Killjoy Jake.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother!
Watch Zone.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
The collective has spoken.
All right, guys, we're back, and we've got Bob, aka The Shape, aka Michael Myers, with us, with the glasses on. All right, guys.
Love it.
That is awesome, man. That is so awesome. I'm telling you. Jesus. Yeah. So, look. Oh, you're doing the breathing?
I love how the mask sucks in as you do it.
That's what
You
this
look
one
like a
does
fish.
too, man.
You look like a fish.
Oh my god.
All right, all right. That's the bit. That's it. That's the whole.
Jake
That's
dies
it.
tonight.
Jake dies tonight. Let's start the hashtag.
This is a Lethal Collective exclusive. We're gonna see who's under the mask.
That's right.
Finally. It's not Tony Moran.
Oh God.
Put the mask
Give me
back
1
on.
second, everybody.
Is that Nick Castle, maybe?
Put the mask back on, please, God. There's children in this chat.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
no.
Wow. All right, guys. So we are back, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Halloween Ends, and our excitement for it, the things we know.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was like, oh,
He said, "Oh yeah,
I don't know
breathe
about
harder."
that. I don't know about that, bro.
Oh, okay.
I was like, whoa. Sorry, Knight. It just caught me off guard.
That caught me off guard.
Jake, did you see it? I don't think Jake even saw
No, I just missed like the last minute.
it.
exactly
Throw it
what
up.
Jake
Throw it up,
wants.
Knight. Come on, man. Throw it
All right,
up.
hold on. Let me
Jake,
hold on.
you missed it.
Oh, man.
This totally derailed our whole conversation.
What's up, Zoe?
Careful,
Oh
careful.
man. Wow.
That's
We're already going
I like how
into
Blanca Blanca
R-rated
said,
territory.
If
know.
Busta appeared at the end,
Dude,
I would have
Right.
died. Busta appeared. Busta Bus.
It's
Oh my
it's
God.
the sequel we shall never speak of on the collective. Halloween
There you go.
Resurrections. Never.
You know what we should do? We should.
I did
post a
enough
video-
speaking about it.
Is anyone good? Is anyone good at Photoshop?
I know people who are good at Photoshop.
We should do every day on the Lethal Collective. Just do like a little short video of us photoshopping Busta into every scene of Halloween. Dude, we would go viral just on that every day, like day one, Busta and Halloween. 78. He's like, and Michael's like just walking through the house, and the Busta's just behind him.
That's
Like,
my
it'd be
big
great.
problem with the David Gordon Green movies. There's just not enough Busta rhymes. I just don't
Exactly.
understand why he's not in those
I
movies.
knew it. I knew that was the problem you had with it, Jake.
That's
Son of a gun.
If we want the Lethal Collective to go viral, that's how we do it. We just put Busta Bust in every single one. And then we should
You know
even
what
have
I'm
his,
saying? Because Michael Myers, he's like a killer shark. You know?
and then we should play like every time he pops up, we should play "Look at Me Now," like just have him do it in the background. So it'd
Oh
be
my
great.
God.
We would go
Oh.
viral in like a
Hey.
month of doing that.
You know what will help us go viral? Now that you mentioned it, Fate, is all of you in the live chat. If you would smash this video right now, that way when this goes into replay mode, it will help other fans find it. And if you've not yet subscribed to the Lethal Collective, come on, you got it. What are you missing out on? Look at this entertainment every week. Are you kidding me? You can't-
Why do we have the quietest guy saying that?
I mean, I'm just-
I love the way he did it, though. That was a great segue, Steven. Very good.
Beautiful
Well,
transition. but-
phenomenal.
Hey, I appreciate. I have my moments. They're here and there. And for all of you in the live chat, share this video. Go throw it on your social media. Let's go. Let's blow up this live chat for this Halloween Ends discussion, because I know inevitably the baseball bat is coming out and fate is going down 3-1. So let's.
See, now you went there. I was
I
not
had to
gonna
go
go
there.
there.
You're starting it, bro.
It's gonna be
I figured. I usually get drug into these things. I said, I'll just go reverse psychology. I'll just
There
go
you go.
first.
That's fair.
I
All right,
bet
so
you
look.
I bet you one of us have a subscriber that's good at Photoshop. If any of you are good at Photoshop, contact
Hit us
the
up.
Lethal Collective. I'm telling you, I guarantee you we'd go viral. I guarantee you,
Oh
we'll put
my
you in all of
God.
those videos.
This is now a Halloween Resurrection live stream. We're just going to
No.
talk
Right.
about it.
No,
Yeah.
I don't
All
know
the
how we
sequels we
resurrect
talk
this,
about.
but I just want to Photoshop
bye-bye,
us,
guys.
I just want to make a video. I just want to make a video where every day we create like a 10-second short of like Busta Rhymes just in that short. I'm telling you, this thing would go viral. We would our
my
channel would
God.
be people would be subscribing to it, and then but we could do that for all kinds of things, like just. Like I've always said, I want it because I'm a huge Supernatural fan. How cool, how funny would it be if like you just plugged in Sam and Dean in every horror movie? Like, you know, like at the end, they just show up. Like, oh, well, that's how
That
Dracula
would be
died.
funny.
Like, that would be great.
That
That's
would
the
be
way to go
funny.
viral.
There's
I'm telling you.
potential. You're right. There is.
Somebody has
Yes.
to be good. I'm terrible at Photoshop, but somebody we know has to be good at Photoshop. I will find someone. I'm going to put
Oh
out a
my
community
God.
post.
Hey,
But
go to
okay, let's be
Fiverr.
professionals.
Go to Fiverr.
Go to Fiverr.
man.
Yeah, go to Fiverr.
There you go. Yes.
No, we're cheap. I ain't trying to pay somebody. I'm trying to do it for
Oh
free.
man. Dude,
Jeez,
$5?
dog.
That's a
I
lot.
was gonna say $5.
You kidding?
All right, jeez. All right, guys. So
Oh.
let's just go around. Let's talk about what we're thinking about Halloween Ends. Just our general thoughts. I'll start with you, Jake, and we'll just kind of go right on around.
Yeah. So just to kick it off with Halloween Ends, there's a few things I've been talking about with the movie that I would love to see in this film. One of the biggest things is to see a come around arc for Laurie Strode. I've talked a little bit on my channel about what in literature, what specifically a Christ figure is, which like some people think, oh, I'm talking about Jesus. No, I'm not talking about Jesus when I talk about that. That's in literature. All that means is a character who has a rise, a fall, and a comeback. And I'm kind of viewing the David Gordon Green movies right now as that for Laurie Strode, with the 2018 movie kind of being her rise, taking down Michael in the basement. The fall, Michael Myers is still alive and kills her daughter. Spoiler, if you haven't seen Halloween Kills. And then Ends, I'm theorizing, will be the comeback, is her taking down Michael for real. So
Yeah.
I see that happening with her character this time around. I don't think they're going to kill her. I just think that would suck. We did that in Halloween Resurrection, and guess what? We're making fun of that movie
Yeah, we
so
are.
many years later.
Yeah, we are.
That's just scratching the surface of everything wrong with that film. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is I would love to see that happen for Laurie Strode, have a definitive death for Michael Myers, because technically we've never seen him die on screen. I mean, you could argue Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, he technically dies, but technically Rob Zombie was going to make a third Halloween film where Michael comes back. So that's not a death technically. So it's like
H2O.
but
if
that
it
got
wasn't for
retconned in Resurrection.
Yeah, in Resurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And they knew they were going to do that too, because Jamie
which I
Lee
thought was
Curtis.
stupid. Like, what
Yeah.
was the point
Yeah.
of what was the point of giving us that conclusive ending?
Right.
If you were
Right.
just gonna
Right.
retcon the whole thing, you might as well just let it
Well,
open ending for us.
Yes.
That's true, and that was the only way that Jamie Lee Curtis, wanted to do this thing. She said he's got to die, and of course they have the clause that says you can't kill Michael Myers. Mustafa had that clause, and then they came back to Jamie and they said, "But what if we do it in a way where the audience thinks that Michael is gonna die, and you're the one that's gonna kill him? They're gonna think that." But then we'll kind of figure it out afterwards. They didn't really tell her exactly what the game plan was until they started to actually film the ending. Because Jamie Lee Curtis was on record. I actually talked about that on my channel too. And she was pissed off about Resurrection. She really was. And I understand why. It was just, I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't. I know, like Mustafa Akkad, like you said, he's kind of against killing Michael, but like let's Let's end the trilogy with that happening. And then if we move forward with more Halloween films, Jason Blum has even expressed interest in wanting to do more films in the future. Like, let's say 5 years later, we do another Michael Myers story. We could like kind of reboot the series and do something new and do something fresh again. I just want to see a definitive ending for Laurie Strode. She's gone through enough, man. Let's actually have evil die tonight in our movie for the love of the horror gods. My big thing, I know one more thing I want to say, and then I'll pass the torch, is I am like mildly concerned about how fast they're pumping out this movie. Like, I know Halloween Kills, like they got that done pretty much in like a 10-month span, but I do feel like there are parts of that film that feel a little rushed or feel a little like too quick. Like if they would have spent a little more time developing that movie, because it is a much higher concept than Halloween 2018, which is just essentially another Halloween slasher movie. It's a good movie. I love Halloween 2018, but it is essentially kind of just doing the same thing as some of the past films. Halloween Kills ventures out into unknown territory and does some much more ambitious stuff, which is why I feel like people are very it's a very polarizing movie. People are pretty hot and cold when it comes to the second one. But I really appreciated that. I appreciated that it does something so differently, and I feel like we're going to see that yet again in Halloween Ends, which is why I kind of wish they would take a little more time to develop and make this one, and not just spend like from January to October pumping out this movie. Like that's just that seems so quick. Like I know it's a slasher film, but like I said, there's more to it than just it being a slasher. It's a conclusive ending to this long story. So I would like I'm kind of halfway concerned about that.
Let me ask you one question about that too, Jay, because now when you say being concerned about it, are you talking more about the filming of it or the development of the story? Like if they're doing any add-ons or takeaways and stuff like that, or both? You might mean both.
Actually, yeah, no, that's a really good point, Knight. To clarify, I kind of like the filming process seems like they're going to be spending about like what 2.5 months filming it. So that's about the right amount of time that they should be spending actually filming it. But the development process, I guess, is the thing I'm much more concerned about. I mean, I know back in 2017 when they were actually developing this as a trilogy, they have come up with the ideas for this film and stuff, but still, I still feel like maybe take some time in between movies to really like just develop all those ideas, because like 2017 was 5 years ago now. Like that was a long time for all this to be happening and for this long plan to be executed. I still think that maybe some things need to be developed more, or we might be in trouble with our next movie. I don't have too many problems with Halloween Kills, despite what everyone says about it. I think there are parts of it that are very clunky. The extended cut, if y'all have seen it, makes the film flow a lot better, for sure. Yeah. But that ending is like, I still don't love the ending of the film all that much, which is one of my biggest problems with the entire movie. And I just hope that, like, that's my biggest concern with Halloween Ends, is I hope the ending doesn't suck, because this is the third act of the David Gordon Green trilogy, and I just hope I hope that's the strongest part, and that's what I'm worried about moving forward with this film. But what do you
they have to stick the landing. They have to stick the landing, man.
Yeah.
You know, so but what do you think, Steven?
Yeah, I'm one of those who seems to be in the minority, and I'm okay with that. I really enjoy Halloween Kills. I'm not going to rehash that conversation. I really like the film. So my hope is that for this movie, we really just get that. I want to see the conclusive, real ending for Jamie Lee Curtis's character. She, I mean, guys, this is, I'm all for, longevity. I love it. But man, she has paid her dues, okay? This Jamie she's the ultimate iconic final girl. And so I want this to be the one where she goes out on top. It finally ends, really for real this time. And yeah, I want to see Michael Myers taken down. And again, if they bring him back in a few years, great, fine. Just, I mean, whatever. It's a franchise. It's too much money to be made for that franchise to sit idle. It's no way. But for the Laurie Strode story, the Jamie Lee Curtis story, this should be the ending. I want this to be the ending. Anything they do in the future, it's just a whole new universe within the universe. And that's what I'm hoping for. And I just want it to be fitting. What I don't want to happen is, guys, we sit here on our live stream in October after we go watch it opening weekend, and we're like, dude, what a terrible way to end this for her. That's what I don't want to have. I want us to come back and say, maybe there's flaws in the movie, whatever, but I want us to be able to say, okay, you know what? They got it right. They got that part right. And we can all agree on that. That's what I'm hoping for. So I don't have a whole lot of specifics to get nitpicky about what I expect. I just want it to be a good movie, suspenseful, brutal kills. Don't give everything away in the trailer this time, and let's give Laurie Strode her send away that she deserves on top.
Yeah.
And I have to say one last thing, then I'll kick it to you, Fate. I posted a video on Halloween today. My first Halloween Ends video on my channel ever.
Yeah.
I'm branching out,
Nice.
man. I'm
There you
branching
go.
out. So
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. I
I had a Halloween Ends video today too. I posted it.
Small world. I
Yeah.
love it.
And you had one 2 days ago too.
That's
I
great.
also had one.
Dude,
I'm just like, yeah, I might as well.
unplanned, guys. See, that's how that's why we work so well. As a group.
See?
We are collectively of the same mindset in life.
Same wavelength.
Yes. And so I posted that first video 3-4 hours ago, and one of the things I mentioned was how Lindsay, with Kylie Richards back, was Lindsay, and that they've rewritten her role to have a larger part in the plot. And so I'm really excited about that because I want to see her, Allison, and Laurie all together as a trio to take him down. That's what I'm hoping for. I had to throw that in there because I'm excited to see more of Lindsay. Excuse me, more of Lindsay. Yeah, there they go, right there. Yeah. That's the power trio of Halloween Ends right there.
Yes, it is.
And I hope they
Absolutely.
tag team and destroy this guy, even though he never can be killed. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how you do it. I mean, he gets up from anything, so I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, he does.
But
he does.
each one of them takes a quarter or 1/3 of the body, and you chop here, we chop here, whatever. But that's all. I just want a good movie, man. Come on.
Absolutely, man. What about you, Fate? And then I'll say something
Well,
too.
before I jump into it, I actually, Craven said something that I think is a good point to talk about real quick, just briefly. Is what would be a bad ending for all of you? Like what? Because like he said, he's like, I don't want to come back and have a bad ending. Like what would be a bad ending in your eyes, Jake?
Yeah, so just to briefly cover this, something I don't want to see is for them to do something where it's like Michael Myers is still alive and hey, we're going to make like 3 more movies with the same story because like, dude, look, Blumhouse has expressed interest in wanting to make more Halloween films. I'm totally down for that. But let's end the David Gordon Green trilogy because like these 3 movies, it makes sense for this story to be where it goes with the timeline. If they want to do a whole nother timeline and maybe like Jamie Lee's like, yeah, let's do 3 more movies, screw it, with somebody else and make a different timeline where it's like maybe the same thing but totally different. Like it's also retconning all the other movies or something. If they want to do something like that in the future, I'm fine with that. But the story needs to end here. It's called Halloween Ends. If Michael kills Laurie and kills everybody and wins, I won't be super happy with that, but at least the story's over. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just want a conclusive ending where it's like, oh, it's not like Michael Myers is going to go back to prison and then escape in 3 more years. You know what I mean? This is the end of the story. Let's keep that here. I guess I just want a conclusive ending for our characters. If it's good, if it's bad, I want a good ending though. Overall, that's what I'm hoping for.
I agree too. Yeah. I mean, it's got to have a conclusive ending. It's called Halloween Ends, so it's got to have a conclusive ending. I hope that Laurie gets a send off. And she deserves it. And I would think, with the attention to detail that they've had in these first 2 movies, I would think that that's on their minds. It's like, okay, we're ending this trilogy, we're ending this movie, we're ending this arc. How do we send Laurie Strode out the right way? Whatever that means. Whatever that means, whether she walks off into the sunset, if she gets killed, I don't know. What do you think, Steven?
Sorry. How about if she just gets thrown off the top of a hospital roof?
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
I won't go back to Resurrections. I'm sorry.
Shame on you. That was so ridiculous. I'll never forget seeing that, man. I was just like, what the is going on? But no, seriously.
You don't feel that they're setting it. You don't feel like they're setting it up for her to die, because I feel like the way that they have the way that they have, excuse me, the way that they have established her sort of story arc in this trilogy is that she's just overly obsessed to the point where it's going to get her killed. Like, and that is kind of what I feel like is going to happen. I really think that she is going to die, and maybe it is to be the one to kind of weaken Michael enough for Allison to give the final blow or something like that. But I really think that they are setting up Allison to be the sort of new Laurie in many ways. You know what I mean? And I really think Laurie is gonna die at some point in this movie. I hope not, but I just think that that's how they are setting it up. Jake, go ahead. You're
To go
about
off, I'm sorry. I'm like, I got so many things because
He's like,
here's what I can see happening because in all these set photos, we're seeing Laurie Strode with a wedding ring on. So I'm assuming she married what's the officer's name? The policeman. I always forget his name. Frank. Yes. So I believe they're married. Maybe it's just a theory at this point. But I see her like just look at how she's dressed in these set photos. She looks like she's recovered a little bit. In that first movie, the 2018 film, she's just a mess. Like she is a paranoid, like kind of delusional, kind of freaking out and super
recluse.
Yeah, yes, very recluse. I see a different Laurie Strode in these pictures. I see one that is much more relaxed, maybe one that has gone to therapy, maybe one that has actually like taken some time to try to fix herself instead of just stay in that bubble and letting the trauma overtake her. I really think that we're going to see a much different Laurie Strode in this movie. And I think the reason we started at that point with her being so obsessive is to see that transitional change in her character. Like I said, they're doing this thing that literature BS that I was just saying earlier. That's just my pretentious ass sounding like I know shit about movies. But what I think is going to be so cool about her character is we're going to see a very different side to Laurie Strode this time around. Like I said, this is going to be the comeback for her. So I think we're going to see a much more positive, a much more brighter side to Laurie Strode than we have in the past. And I think that it'll be a different kind of Halloween movie. It's going to be like David Gordon Green even said that it's going to be a coming of age tale for probably like Allison, who's also not in a good place because both of her parents are dead and her boyfriend, basically everyone besides her grandmother who has been close to her. I just really think if Laurie Strode does die and bite it in this movie, it's going to be sacrificing herself to save her family and kill Michael. I don't see her just getting murdered by Michael and Michael walks off into the sunset and he has the happy ending,
I don't think it's going to be anything like that, but I could see her die. I mean, a lot of people I've seen, they think that they'll both die like together in that poetic moment. I don't think that's the route it's going to go, but I definitely think I could see Laurie, whatever happened, like it's looking like Allison's about to die. Laurie goes over, whatever, picks up a knife, stabs Michael, whatever. She gets killed in the process, but it's enough for, Allison to like pick up an axe or something and boom, give the final blow. And Laurie, and then they have that emotional moment after where, Laurie's bleeding out and it's like, you did good type thing. Like that's kind of how I see this unfolding. And I could be completely wrong. Wrong. I just think that's kind of how they've, built up Laurie's character. And you're right, she could just completely be an entirely new mindset, so on and so forth. Because how many years after the first one is this? This is what it's
4.
3, 4.
It's 4 years from Halloween Kills.
Yeah, okay. So it's 4 years later. So a lot can happen in 4 years.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. It's very likely that she could have gone to therapy, gone to rehab. Maybe now that she's married and she's with Frank. And she now has somebody that she can confide into that she never really had because everyone else thought she was crazy this whole time. But now she has somebody that can relate and has been there and understands and has had the same obsession in many ways. So maybe they can have that sort of back and forth with each other to kind of help each other grow. And now she has Allison who she can confide in and understands like what it's like to have Michael essentially take everything from her. So yeah, I definitely could see that. I just think that like I don't think she's going to get the happy ending. I mean, because she's never really been that character in this franchise. Like, like Sydney, like she's always been the character that feels like she needs to have a happy ending to properly give a conclusion to her story. Laurie, I've never felt was that character. I felt like her destiny was to die in a blaze of glory, trying to take down and hopefully succeeding in taking out Michael.
Well, it also kind of depends on how you look at Laurie, because you got to remember she's been in multiple timelines with Jamie Lee Curtis. If you think about if you just take the 78 Laurie, I mean, she definitely was. What I was going to say, I'm being roundabout about it, but it would be interesting if in this movie she does have that comeback to kind of like her old self, in the sense of just being more positive, more stable. like you guys were saying, she's married with Frank, and maybe life is a lot more positive for her. And that would actually be pretty cool to see, because we've already seen her in the dark place, in the down and out place, in the paranoid place. And if she does that in this movie too, I'm sure there'll be an interesting take on that. But I'd love to see her come back and be, a little bit more bright, or what have you. That, I think that would kind of be the full circle, to end this trilogy. I mean, because she was always like, if you think about the original, she was, just chilling and babysitting and just doing what she had to do right up until that last 22 minutes, 21 minutes, whatever it was. And then it was like, bam, she came into survival mode to save those kids, which, by the way, that's still some really cool stuff from the original. But other than that, she was just a regular kid,
Yeah.
And
teenager.
same goes with the 2018 film. Like, Michael is never going after Laurie. Like, it's the thing that's so interesting to me about the David Gordon Green trilogy is that something that was explored in all the previous sequels, for the most part, is the fact that Michael Myers is going after Laurie Strode. But what's so cool about these movies is that's all in Laurie's head. Michael isn't really going after her.
Right.
He just wants to go home, man. Like, in Halloween Kills, he's just hanging out in his bedroom at the end of that film. Like, he does not want to be, he doesn't care about, he doesn't even know Laurie Strode's name, probably. It doesn't even something, he's not something, it's not something he cares about at all.
Right.
And I think that's what's so interesting about this film. If that does happen, though, if that poetic justice of Laurie Strode killing Michael Myers, that ends up happening at the end of Halloween Ends, it's not going to be because of Michael. It's going to be because of some other force. It's going to be maybe because of Laurie's paranoia. But once again, I just don't think we're going to see that side of Laurie Strode in this film. I could be wrong, though. I'm not 100% sure.
Where do you guys think Michael's been all this time, though? Like the last 4 years?
Great question.
Chilling.
Because he hasn't been. I guarantee you hasn't been. So, well, there was the tweet from Blumhouse where somebody asked, "What's going on with the Myers house?" And it says that Laurie bulldozed it before the events in that. There was a tweet that came from Jason Blum himself that Laurie bulldozed the house, which makes sense. It makes sense given that that would be the case. But whether she
maybe that's why they're
not,
calling it Cave Dweller.
Yeah,
the working title, maybe.
yeah.
Clearly,
I mean that could,
Michael
like, no, because I was just saying, like, what? Because Laurie's not just gonna let him chill in the, especially the townspeople, especially with everything that has happened with the town. Like, there's no way they're just gonna be letting him just chill and relax in their town. Like, there's no way. So Michael had to have gone somewhere. Something had to have happened that made him, go into hiding. Whether, like, maybe he's just like, hey, I can't take out this whole town by myself. I'm going to go somewhere and hide.
Or
I don't know.
can I?
Yeah. Well,
I'm just joking.
What? But that's kind of something that I hope that they touch on in this, because like, I hope they don't just pick it up and Michael's not in the town and Laurie and everything. Because it's like, why? Like, even Michael in his psychotic state, I mean, he took on half the town by himself in that scene. Like, you're telling me he wouldn't just keep running through the town until everybody's dead, or until like the FBI show up and just blow him away? Like, go ahead, Jake. you look like you're about to have an aneurysm.
No, you're good. It's not even that I disagree. I just, like, I keep hearing things and I'm like, oh fuck, I want to put this in there. Steven, did you have anything to say? I know you're a little quieter, so
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I was gonna jump in on Laurie Strode. I'm gonna back up a second and say that look, 2 weeks ago today, I saw one of my favorite iconic characters die a quote heroic death to save people. And maybe it's because it's a little raw, but I swear, if they treat Jamie Lee Curtis, if they give her the Dewey treatment in this movie, I am going to be furious. I don't care what justification you have. I don't want to see that. Look, I don't want to see her have a Dewey type end in Halloween Ends. I just don't. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I hope it doesn't, because she deserves better. Dewey deserves better. I'm crossing the streams right now, but I'm not going to turn this into a scream talk, but Dewey should not have been killed. 1,000 ways to get Sidney there without killing him. That's a whole other topic. I could give you tons off the top of my head. Didn't have to do that, but they did it, whatever. But I don't want to see that happen to Jamie Lee Curtis again. I don't want that same thing to happen to her twice in 1 year. To see two iconic characters from a horror franchise,
Right.
I don't want. It's just too much. Don't do it. No, that was my final thoughts on Jamie Lee Curtis. And as far as where's Michael's been, man, that guy eats dogs. He eats tree
Right?
beetles. This dude,
Tree beetles.
This guy, he will go find somewhere to find a hole, and he'll be fine. So.
Yeah.
I would love to.
It's not that. It's just that, like the whole premise of Halloween Kills was that he wanted to go home. So he finally goes home. It's like, so then what? Does Laurie, if Laurie really did bulldoze the house, right? So what? Laurie bulldozed the house with him in it? Like, are we going to get to see that? Is that, you know what I mean? Like, and then if so, then what happens? He just lets Laurie walk away? Laurie just let him walk away? Like, you know what I mean?
They're gonna have to come up with something interesting, and I'm really curious because it's gonna have to, and it's gonna have to be better than what they did in H2O and Resurrection, because there were time gaps in those movies, and of course with Resurrection. And I know we're going back to Resurrection. This really sucks.
Oh, damn, bro.
but it's a great comparison, though.
He was hiding out underground. He was hiding out underneath the house. And it's like, who built that? It was like a layer down there. It's like, please don't do that. Learn from your mistakes. And I have a lot of faith that some way, somehow, they're going to make it make sense of what's been going on in these 4 years with Michael. He literally could go anywhere else, and make it make sense. And I just hope that's the case. Really,
I would love
do you think
to
he'll
see.
be locked away again?
Okay, well, I would love to see him like not be locked away for this movie, because like you could do the same thing you did in Halloween 2018 and have him at a penitentiary or something, and then like he's on a bus, the bus crashes. We could do that again. But what if we didn't? But what if we did something new?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, right. Crazy idea. But
What if we did it?
Let's not do Halloween 4 and Rob Zombie's Halloween. And
like we've seen that a
2018.
million times. Like, let's do something. What if Michael is living in like a sewer drain somewhere eating rats? Like something just depraved and disgusting, and his jumpsuit is all like he's been wearing it for 4 years and it's all ripped up and it's covered in sewage water. I want to see a disgusting Michael Myers in this film.
Nice.
Covered in poop and just
Covered in poop.
I can't even go anywhere with that.
Imagine the shade of white that mask will be. Oh my gosh. Man.
I would love to just see him bite into a rat or something. James Jude Courtney like catching one of them and just like biting its head off. That would be just upsetting, man. Yeah. Yes. I would love to see him come out.
But that would be something fresh.
It would.
I mean, imagine that, something fresh in a 50-year-old franchise,
But that's what I don't want. Like
What?
I mean I do want the freshness. What I don't want is the same old repetitive. Like, because that's my biggest fear is that they're gonna lock him up. He's gonna be locked away again. They're gonna have to come up with some silly reason for him that just doesn't happen twice in a lifetime, but apparently it does for him. And he escapes. It's going to be some silliness. Then he's going to come back. Like, I would rather it just be like you said. I'd rather it be a fresh take. Like him going home. And whatever. Laurie bulldozes the house and whatever. And she thinks he's dead, but he's not. And he just kind of wanders into the wilderness or whatever, and just kind of waits and bides his time. Because I mean, there's just so much that needs to be explained, and I hope they do that. I hope they don't just jump right in and we don't get an explanation where like Resurrection is a good point, because like from H2O to Resurrection, they didn't really fill anything in. Laurie's just at this psych ward and is like, I knew you were coming. Like
in another state or further away. Not only that, but remember, for H2O, he traveled cross country basically.
Yes.
He traveled cross country. Yes. So how the hell did Michael do that? He's driving a car. He's got his mask on. Hey guys.
Someone taught him to drive, right? Yeah, someone did.
Or something did. Some spiritual entity element that gave him this knowledge, just like he did in 78. And Knight and I talked about this before. In 78, how does he know, out of being in an institution since he was 5 or 6, how does he know how to drive a car, how to drive to Haddonfield? There's no GPS. There's no smartphone, 78. How does he know where to go? So there's something helping him
It's an
because there's
instinct.
no one with him. There's a supernatural element. That's what we've always talked about. There's always that element to him that is beyond human. But now I have to say guys, listen, I have to say, oh my gosh.
Me too. Me
I'm
too.
telling you,
Sorry.
One
That's
last
great.
thing I have to say about resurrections because we talked a lot about resurrections on our Halloween Ends stream, and the thing of it that Knight, especially for those in the live chat who don't know, Knight is an accomplished martial artist. Okay, in real life.
Jeez.
And I have to say this: if anything we can learn from that wretched pile of dog dung that's called Halloween Resurrection, is this: you can defeat Michael Myers because you know the karate kick. You know
Yes.
the Busta Rhyme move.
Busta
So
Rhyme.
Knight,
Yes.
if Michael comes in your house, you got it, bro. So
I guess so.
There's
I
some
guess
value there.
so. Who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought?
I just had to say that.
God.
Go
I would just
Oh
cry
my
in the
God.
corner, man. I would be dead. I
Right?
would be so dead. Yeah.
Oh my lord. Oh,
No,
my
but
God.
boy.
I mean,
But-
just
But
to
let
bring
me
it
ask you something too,
What?
Fate.
Yeah.
Now, because when you're saying you want explanations of things and so forth, do you want? Because there's been rumors and stuff about this new movie, of course, and so a lot of people have also speculated about are they going to explain what drives Michael? You know, where he gets that you know that strength and so forth and so forth. Do you want them to explain that, and if so, to what degree?
No, I don't. 'Cause
Okay,
that-
that's
that's
what I wanted
always-
to make sure.
That's always been the beauty of like, and that's what
Yes.
I didn't like about Halloween Kills was that they tried to they stated over and over again that he's just a man, but the movie told you otherwise. Like there's several scenes throughout that movie where they paint him as this like deity almost, like he's the more he kills, the stronger he gets. You know, he's like gets reawakened, and it's just like this. It makes him. It almost it alludes to him being more than just a man. But the beauty,
But that's what's scary about it too, though, is
yeah.
because
'cause then you don't
he's a
know.
man.
Right.
But that
You
was-
know
but
he's
that
a
was-
man, but yet he's doing things that a man shouldn't be able to do.
That's not
Yes.
what they did in Halloween Kills. Like in the classic Halloween, they did an excellent job of that. It was always a mystery. It was like, what is going on with this guy? Like, no matter how many times you fire at him, he just avoids
But isn't it
like he's
isn't
just
it still a
matrix.
mystery though?
No,
I would
because
argue it's-
they told you that he is more than a man in the movie.
But that's
They said
character.
he's
Well, that's
more-
J-
like
that's
those
J-
are
That's Laurie with her speculation.
right. I don't think that's confirmed
Yes,
yet at all.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
but so you have Laurie stating like that he's more than a man, and he is the more he kills, the stronger he gets. And then you have scenes where he's doing impossible tasks, such as he gets killed, it appears, and then jumps up and just mutilates all these people. Like that, like if they would have just had the Laurie talk and he just like rummaged through the town and just were taking people out and stuff like that, then that's one thing. But to basically have this entire dialogue building him up as this like being, essentially this like almighty mortal, like, and then showing
Something like
scenes after of him being as described, I think just it took away the entire mystery. I love the subtlety of Michael. I loved how it was left to the audience.
But we still don't know what the source of that strength is. We don't. If it
Yes,
is
but
this-
it doesn't matter. We still
does-
know he's
but it
a
does
supernatural. We still know he has
So-
a supernatural element.
Okay,
Well,
wait, hang on.
But Fate, we've always known that.
Well,
Has anyone
okay,
honestly,
two
But
questions,
It's
two
never
questions.
been pointed.
Not
It's
known
never
that.
been directly
Since
pointed.
1978.
But
getting
it's
good.
never
It's getting
been.
good,
It's
y'all.
never
Yeah,
been
it is.
directly pointed out. It's never. They've never said,
Right.
you know, this is a pair of scissors. They just showed it, and it was up to you to decide.
But
You
let
know,
me
like
ask you
that's
something,
what I
Fate.
loved.
Can I just ask you a quick question? Then Jake, you've got the floor. I just have to,
Okay.
You're right, but the point is, if you don't point out the obvious, does that make it any less obvious? If it's obvious that that's what's going on, whether or not I may never formally address it, but even if I address it, it's what we already know. So it's not like we're introducing new information to Michael Myers. This has been him since the beginning. That was my only point, right? So yeah, they finally verbalized like what could be going on, but we've known in all 12 of these movies or whatever the number is up to now, we've known through all of these that there's something going on. So I didn't feel like I was like being exposed to the trick behind the curtain or anything. Because to me, it's like I knew that already. But I
I
still
mean,
don't know what it
Laurie
is.
said it herself. She said it was the boogeyman, and Luna
Yeah.
said, as a matter of fact, it was. I mean, the boogeyman isn't a rock star. The boogeyman is this mythological,
it's the devil's
thing.
eyes.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Jake.
But
Jake, go ahead.
Okay, so I got two questions for you, Tyler. First of all, do you not want to see a supernatural Michael? I'm just curious on your take on that.
I don't want it to go too over the top. I don't want him to become Jason Voorhees. I want him to be what Michael Myers is. And the problem is they're borderlining on Jason Voorhees. And that's what I don't want. I mean, they made Jason Voorhees directly modeled after Michael Myers as the over-the-top version of Jason Voorhees. I don't need Halloween to become a Friday the 13th movie. I want it to stay Halloween.
And I agree with that. My thing about Michael though is like, yeah, we do have that ending scene where, hi, thank you,
hi,
thank you so much. Everyone says hello on the live stream. Hello.
Pizza time.
It's pizza time.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, you're selfish.
Pass
You
the
didn't get
slice
enough for
around. Let's
everyone.
go.
Like,
Come
wow.
on.
I'll mail it to you guys. I'll mail you guys
Enough
everyone a
for
slice.
everybody?
Yeah, everyone in the chat, everyone who's in the chat right now gets a free piece of pizza. I'm sending it to your address.
3 different time zones.
Yeah, give me your social security number in the live chat, and you will get a piece of pizza. There we go. Don't do that. Don't do. I'm kidding. Please don't do that.
People will start doing it.
Yeah, like no, please don't do that. I'm kidding.
What Jake said.
I'd be like, out again. Bye bye.
I hope you have a good lawyer.
Carrie, I
Right.
agree with you.
Yeah.
Carrie, I agree with you. Maybe he was human at one point.
I like that. But a point I want to make about the David Gordon Green trilogy is that everyone has this take on Michael Myers. He's unstoppable.
Right.
He killed all these people, and he continues to kill people. He continues to survive. I think that mystery is what drives this franchise, and I don't think they're ever going to answer that with the last movie. There is going to be a conclusive ending. Maybe let's say, just for theory's sake, let's say the ending is with Laurie Strode and she kills Michael Myers. Yeah. Take that off. Take that down, please. For the love of God. Don't, dude, don't do that. I really hope that's not real.
I hope so either. I didn't even see it at first. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, no, that's not good.
Oh, Carrie.
Anyways, moving forward with this. Jesus Christ. Okay, but I can't believe I just said that. What is wrong with me? But what I think they'll do with this next movie is they won't answer that question. They're not going to answer what Michael Myers is. And I think that's part of the fun, though, is the fact that we're never going to really know if he's supernatural or not. But the ending of Kills adds to that argument, because if they were to just show you a Michael Myers that could be human, plausibly, and there was no reinforcement for the other side of that argument, it would kind of take away from the mystery. Don't you think you would agree with that? Because if they never showed Michael ever having some kind of maybe supernatural power, then there's no argument. There is no mystery at that point.
My thing is, it's all in the subtlety. Like it's a combination of everything that they did in Kills. It's the dialogue as well as the actual scenes itself. Basically saying he is more than a man, and then Michael proving he is more than a man. Therefore, he's clearly more than a man. Yet you're on the other end, you're saying constantly that no, he's just a man, he's just a human. But your movie explains and shows otherwise. Where if they didn't have, or if they just had the Laurie dialogue, and he's just running through the town and just going about what we saw outside of like the craziness of like the surviving a 40-man onslaught, stuff like that. Like that is enough to elude. You have Laurie explaining that he's not just a man, and the feats are, yes, they're subtle, but they're not so over the top that it basically completely confirms what Laurie is saying. It's just showing you enough that he's not your typical man. That yes, he may still be mortal, he may still be human, but he's not your typical human. And then you have Laurie's dialogue sort of elevating that even farther. Or vice versa. You don't have Laurie sort of elevating that, but you have these like epic, incredible feats where it's like, is he a man or is he not? I always enjoyed that subtleness of Halloween. They've always portray, like leave it to the audience's imagination of what you think it is. What is his instinct? What is driving him? What are all the things that make Michael Michael? Like that was what I always loved about the franchise, was he was just this, sort of, there was no real explanation to his madness. There was no explanation to his supernatural
Except for
force.
Curse.
Well, hold on.
Except for Curse of Michael Myers.
The Thorn trilogy, yeah.
Just like every rose on the planet, Michael Myers has his thorn.
Oh.
And every cowboy sings a sentence.
Wow.
Yes. Everybody sing it in the chat. Let's go.
And they have the lighters going.
As it's dawn.
Yeah.
Come on, Night.
Sing
Sing it, man.
Just like
you go.
every night as it's
As
dawn.
it's dawn. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yes,
Steven,
There we go.
I know
never
Legit
got full
entertainment.
Curse.
I hope the people realize that this is top-notch quality entertainment. You
This
just can't get
is
this
good.
everywhere.
Subscribe.
You can't.
You cannot.
And this
It's
is
not-
unscripted.
It's not
This is
every
totally
live chat where you
unscripted.
get someone's social security number.
I mean, and being serenaded, social
Or
the best
having
part-
and
or
pizza.
asking for pizza and asking for specific toppings.
Yeah. yes.
Throw that
Give me
out
the
there.
sausage.
And the best part is, this
That's
is free. Where can you get entertainment like this?
That's
That's
can't.
right.
That's right.
All we ask is
Absolutely.
you give us your socials, like Jake said.
Oh,
No,
jeez.
no, do not do that. No, do not put that in the
Look,
chat.
Remember, if you do a class action lawsuit, it's to kill
So
George
now,
Jake.
really, to go viral, we just need you
I'm
to
so stressed.
smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and smash that social security card.
Social Security. Oh Lord,
No,
that's too
don't.
funny.
Do not do that. For the love of
Lord.
God.
All right, so look, just
Oh,
to
Jesus.
kind of tie
Jake's
this back
getting all
around.
kinds of lawsuits. in
I'm
the
so
mail.
red right now. I'm so scared. I'm like, someone's gonna be so mad at me, dude.
Right.
Sorry. Let's,
All right, so just so we could start to head into the
Yeah.
finale of this thing, man. So
Oh yeah.
here's my question too, with this whole thing. Now they've talked about this whole. There's been speculation about this whole radio tower thing. And I'm sure you guys probably have heard some stuff about it. Maybe
Has it gone
supposedly.
radio silent?
What?
Did it go radio silent? Did the tower go radio silent?
Ha!
Sorry. Okay, I know. I've done
Anyways.
that way too much tonight. I have way over the top on these little lines. I gotta
Yeah, man, what's going on? No,
I don't know.
but-
I'm out of
so
character.
here's my question. Like, do you guys think that this radio tower is going to have any, or what significance do you think it's going to have? Because David Gordon Green has talked about it. They did reference it in Kills. They had that shot where they were looking out on the town and you could see the radio tower and stuff. So, Jake, I'll start with you, then Steven, then Fate. But do you think it's going to have, what kind of significance do you think it'll have in Halloween Ends?
Okay, so I got two theories. I got one that's like, okay, maybe that could happen, and then my other theory is like, that is out there, Jake. Jesus, what is wrong with you? So I'll give you my real one real quickly, and I just think it's gonna be like a third act setting where maybe for some reason Laurie is chasing Michael up this radio tower or something, and they could fall off, they could push him off, shoot him off. Laurie jumps and pushes him off with her, and they both die. Something along those lines. I think that would be a cool setting for a third act of your Halloween movie, opposed to just like a house in Haddonfield. Let's do something extreme with the last film. David Gordon Green's going to go out with a bang. That could maybe happen. My BS theory that's completely crazy, because I just think this would be fun to incorporate this movie into this film, is recently in an interview, David Gordon Green specifically was talking about how he wants to reference other John Carpenter movies with this last film. They've done a lot of referencing to the whole franchise, the whole Halloween franchise with the last two movies. We saw the specifically the Halloween 3 masks in the last film. Kids were wearing them.
Yeah.
What if Silver Shamrock is in this universe? And what if they're using the radio tower to control, I know, this is totally crazy, to control Michael Myers with his, the
The
mask
mask.
he's wearing.
I've heard of
Totally
that
out
theory.
there theory, and it's completely insane. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not come up with that. I saw a video of someone else talking about that and how crazy that would be. I'm like,
Whoa.
I'm in this like area right now where I'm not against that, but that would be so ridiculous. And I just don't think that's going to happen. But I wanted to point it out because that is a theory. And that's so interesting to me to incorporate that third film into this movie somehow. I don't know if it's going to be that extreme, but maybe Silver Shamrock is a company in this universe. And maybe they are putting out these masks. I don't know, something along those lines. But yeah, totally BS theory, like I said. Just
What do you-
something fun to put out there.
What about you, Steven? What do you think of that?
I think if you include the silver shamrock, if you include the theme, you've got me, Jake. You've reeled me in. I'm all for, because if I could picture them walking up a tower with the silver shamrock theme song playing as they're climbing, and then I picture they get to the top of the tower and we have this Caddyshack moment when the priest is out in the lightning storm playing golf and he lifts his golf club up and the lightning strikes and he electrocutes him, and I can just picture it hitting the tower, electrocuting Michael, frying him, and Silver Shamrock is off in the distance, and there you go, end credits. And hopefully, Jamie Lee Curtis survives. I don't want her to die. No more Deweys.
That's right.
So,
That's right. No more Dewey stuff.
No more Deweys. That's my new tagline.
right.
Hashtag no more Deweys. So,
Yes. Yes.
I don't know, man. I think it's a wild theory, and I don't hate it. I know it's crazy as it sounds. I don't actually hate it. I really don't. I don't know. I haven't really given it enough thought yet to give a really good guess. So I'm gonna have to hold back on that one until I really get some more time to think about it. Bye, Carrie. Appreciate you. As at this moment in time, I'm going with a Shamrock mask. I'm going with Jake. I'm all in. I'm running you right now. Let's go. Fire up the theme song. Let's go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's do it.
3 more days till Halloween.
Halloween.
man.
Happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Would you guys want them to remake that song or remake
No.
that movie? Not the song.
Oh, yes. Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be
Oh.
fun.
But don't
I
call it
love Season of the
Halloween.
Witch.
Just
Right.
call it Season of the
Season
Witch.
of the
Yes.
Witch. Yeah.
And that
Yes.
would almost be like a nod to Carpenter and also to the fans, because so many people always talk about how if it wasn't called Halloween 3 and if it was just called Season of the Witch,
Yes.
how it would have been much more
It's
appreciated.
such a good
and-
movie.
100%.
It is.
Yes,
it
it's
is a
so
great
good.
movie. Listen, man, when I
would you
did,
rather,
I went
would you
through the
rather
whole-
Rob Zombie do it,
Oh,
or
no.
would you rather
No.
David Gordon
No. Never
no,
again.
stop. I'm not gonna
No.
have Rob Zombie do that. But
He should
listen,
be banned from any Halloween.
listen.
Any Halloween property from now on.
The Season of the Witch, it is such a great movie. And when I went through the ranking of the franchise, that was high up on my list. It was high up on Kill's list and Coriander's. It is a great movie. And to you, and I'll let you jump in too, Tyler, but just to you guys' point, I think that it'd be crazy if it was that integrated into this movie, but it would not surprise me in the least if we didn't either hear the theme or maybe
Yes.
it played in instrumental form or
Mhm.
see something that says Silver Shamrock or something like that. Because again, John Carpenter was really trying to do something different with Halloween 3 and it failed miserably. And he has gone on record saying that he really was, distraught about that because he really wanted to do something different for every movie. It's Halloween, but it's a different story. And I think that what better way to pay homage, because they've already done a little bit of that in Kill. So I think it would be great
true.
if they do something. Maybe not something super crazy, but it would be cool to see some nods, that's right in front of us, some wink or nod. But I'm sorry, Tyler, I didn't mean to jump in front of you.
No, you're good.
What do you think of it?
I think first off, I think the fact that Season of the Witch was a Halloween movie, I think is the reason it's. I think if it was its own movie, I think people would have loved it. I think it would have been because it was a good movie. It just being part of the Halloween franchise is what really made it lackluster in people's opinions, people's eyes. I'm gonna choke on that.
I'm so sorry, dude. I haven't eaten all day. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. So, all right, hold on. Listen, now, Jake. Now that you've gone and started to eat, tell us what toppings you're having tonight. Let us be informed.
Dude, deluxe pizza all the way. That's the only way to eat pizza.
Give us
That's
a
the
pizza.
only way.
Give us a
the
pizza
only
review.
way. Pizza,
Pizza review.
gladly, yes. I'm eating massive shout out to DeCecco's Pizza in Akron, Ohio.
Nice.
To anyone who likes. Wouldn't it be so weird?
We're gonna
I
get
was
a
just about to say
sponsorship.
that sponsorship.
How weird would it be if we got somebody in the chat who was like, "Oh, I know that place." Like that'd be
yeah,
so
yeah.
weird.
Sponsorship.
So, is that regional, Jake, or is that a mom and pop shop, like one place? Do you know?
I want to say it's a mom and pop shop because I've never seen it anywhere else. So I don't live anywhere near Akron. I'm going to be honest. I live in like the Cleveland area. We drive down to Akron to get this pizza. That's how good it is.
Ooh,
like my whole family is completely insane. Like we drive, we'll drive an hour for good pizza. We love this is a pizza house. But is that the best pizza in Ohio? Oh man, it's arguable. We're literally on a Halloween live stream. We're talking about Season of the Witch and pizza right now. What is
Resurrection
and Resurrection. We're not talking about Halloween Ends. What's going on?
You never know what you're gonna get on the Lethal Collective.
You never know.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Bust a Move. We're talking about Bust a Rhyme. That's what I'm talking about.
This is a jam full all the fellas.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh, no. No.
So Jake, I think with the collective here, we have officially given you the lead to contact the what's the name of the pizza joint?
It's called DeCheco's.
DeCheco's and work on the first Lethal Collective sponsorship.
You know what? I'm working on it. I'm honestly, I'm gonna try to make that happen for real.
That'd be awesome. We just eat some pizza on every live stream.
That's so cool. Like every live stream, we have to eat a slice of pizza.
Hey, I'll do it. Hey,
I would
send
too.
me
I love
free
pizza.
It's great.
And
I will mail it to you, just like everyone in the chat who's
Yeah. Gotta figure that out.
I mean,
frozen
they
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, just freeze. All they have to do is freeze it and mail it to us. We only do this once a week, so we'd get it in time. Yeah.
You guys are crazy.
But back to Halloween Ends.
Yes. Let's get back to you, Tyler. We're winding it down. So let me know what you think about that idea.
No, but so I don't think they're gonna go that overboard, over the top. It just doesn't fit this. It just doesn't fit this film.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be more. I think it's gonna be more just simplified as like that could very well be where he's living. Like that could be the place where he's hiding and just living. I think that's probably the route they're going to go. And Laurie
somewhere near there.
Yeah, and Laurie finds out that that's his sort of hideout spot, and so they end up going there to like track him down and kill him. That is kind of the route that I see that going. And then that kind of being where the climax of this happens. And I do like the idea of them, sort of scaling this tower or whatever. Maybe Michael's chasing after Allison, and Laurie's on the ground trying to figure it out and pulls them down and they both fall to their death or something like that, whatever the case may be. I think that is more likely the route for that. But yeah, I think at least I hope they don't go. I hope they keep the train on the rails. I hope they don't go too far off the track. Cause I think that as much as I didn't like Halloween Kills, I do like what they have done overall so far, and I'd like them to kind of keep it in that direction. I want them to just keep it fluid. Don't try to make it something that it's not, and
right,
because you just as easily as you can make this the best trilogy we've ever gotten, you can also make this one of the worst trilogies we've ever gotten. Like it's not hard to make it go either way.
Okay,
so,
that's a question right there. If Halloween Ends sucks, are we all gonna just hate these three movies now? How do we feel about that?
That's what I'm saying.
I won't.
I look at them one by one, honestly.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's a trilogy.
That's not what you all were saying in the last when we were having our debate.
Oh no!
No.
I've never said that.
Pull up the tape. You said this. You guys said, "Oh, it's part of a trilogy. It's all one thing. They're not their own separate movies. It's all one fluid story."
That's why I said.
Look, now you're trying to change the opposite.
No.
I quit.
Look, now that Fate is gone.
Worked.
Fate,
I want to apologize to the audience. I don't quit, but these guys are. They're
Listen, can I just make one thing, and then Jake, Knight, whatever, whoever can go. I have to say this: just because each of it is part of a trilogy, and it's a connected story, and you evaluate the whole story at the end to say whether it failed or not. Same as Scream, no different. But that does not mean it doesn't mean that we cannot evaluate each film's execution and how they did the film within that particular film story. So it's not an either or. It's both. There's no law of excluded middle here. So in other words, you're right, but they're both right because yeah, it is a connective story, absolutely. But it's also doesn't mean that we cannot validate or invalidate what our feelings are for each individual film and how it was executed. That was my point.
Well
But it
said.
doesn't. You're telling me it doesn't ruin the entire this version of the franchise as a whole? That's silly.
I mean, it'll definitely make me a little sad because I always like a story to stick the landing.
This isn't going to change your opinion of the entire trilogy as a whole. There's no way.
Okay,
There is
okay,
no
so you don't like
Go ahead,
Scream
Jake.
3, right? What's your opinion on Scream 3?
I don't think it's a terrible movie, but it's not my favorite.
Does that
So what do you
ruin
think of
the
that trilogy?
Does that ruin the first one for you though?
No, it ruins the entire trilogy as a whole. Yes, I was unsatisfied.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow,
with the
really?
Even with the strength of 1 and 2.
yes, because you didn't have a fluid, conclusive ending. Like it just was. It didn't fit. You had a beautiful first 2 installments that just flew beautifully. And then you had a third installment that was just all over the place and didn't make sense. Of course it affects the overall, but the difference between Halloween and the Scream franchise is each Scream movie is its own independent film. That's not the case with what's going on with this Halloween franchise. So when it comes to Scream, I can say Scream 96 by itself, in and of itself, because it is a conclusive film, is one of the greatest horror films of all time. And my favorite favorite horror movie of all time. I can say the same thing about Scream 2. I can say Scream 3 and 4 were not on par with those two, and then I thought Scream 4 was terrible. And it doesn't ruin the entire franchise.
But hold on, but I know what you mean as far as each Scream movie can stand on its own. That's true, but they are connected. We're following the same characters. And Scream 2, hold on, but Scream 2, the emotion and the weight is built upon from the original movie. Like we wouldn't have some of those things happening and they wouldn't hit the same way if we didn't know of the story that happened before. You know what I mean? So even though I know what you're saying, because 2018 and Kills is like right meshed into each other, and that's true.
They're all one movie. They're all one movie.
Yes, I know what you mean, but to me, a trilogy is an entire thing, but it's also the sum of its parts. But that's like saying, like with Terminator 1, 2, and 3, Terminator 3 was nowhere near the level of 1 and 2. But as a trilogy, yeah, I was thinking that wasn't a great way to end those 3 movies at the time before they went with Salvation. But I didn't like the franchise any less because 3 didn't hit for me. Same thing with this trilogy. If Halloween Ends doesn't stick the landing, I'm going to be like, oh, that's too bad that it ended that way, or whatever happens with Laurie. That's too bad it happened that way. But I still enjoyed 2018 and Kills, and they're still there. They won't change.
It doesn't take away from the enjoyment, though, but it does because the difference is, like I said, this is 18 all the way to Ends is one continuous story. You can watch Scream 2 and enjoy Scream 2 and never watch 96, and it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't. There's not the only thing that you would need to really understand is who Mrs. Loomis is, Billy's mother. Other than that, there is no direct connection to 96. It's in many ways its own movie. Where Halloween 18 through Ends is literally one continuous film. Essentially, it's essentially just one story broken into 3 parts. Rather than where each Scream movie is its own thing. So you can make a comparison. You can feel a certain way. The way Halloween ends is literally the ending of one 6-hour movie, just broken into 3 sections. So people don't have to watch a 6-hour movie. It's 3 separate films.
Yeah, but
and that's what I'm saying. So of course it's going to have you look at the rest of the parts differently because it's all one thing. You can't say, at the end of 18, Halloween Kills, you can watch Halloween Kills and it doesn't take away from 18. Of course it does. Your opinions on Kills is also based in part because of the way 18 flew. It made sense falling into it. It's going to be the same thing with Ends, where if you get to the end of Halloween Ends, you're going to look back and be like, wow, that was really lackluster. Yes, you may have liked 18 and Kills, but it's going to change your overall opinion on the entire story, if that makes sense.
I mean, for me, I don't know. I guess I just view it differently because I enjoyed 18 for what it was. I could have never seen another Halloween movie. I could have stopped at 18 and said that was a really good movie. I watched Halloween Kills the day it came out. Now, granted, having the history helped because, to where we're at in the story, but even the way Kills starts, it starts up with them in the van, the house is burning. I could add 1 + 1 to figure out kind of what's going on if I'd never seen 2018.
Yeah, but you can't watch Kills and not have seen 18.
Of course you can. What do you mean?
No,
I think so.
Because half of that movie
that was
needs the explanation and backstory of 18.
It adds to it, but it's not required. It's not because the way they start.
There are entire scenes that dive into 18. Like you would not know. You would sit there and watch some of that dialogue and not know anything that is going on because if you didn't watch 18, like you had to watch 18 to understand most of that movie. It's not the same thing as a Scream film.
Well, here's the thing, though. But I guess the point I'm trying to really get to is this. For me, this is from my own perspective. Then, Jake, I know you got a lot you want to say. I'll say it this way. No matter what happens with Ends, it will not change how I feel about these other two movies. Well, I may say the story's ending was horrible and that Ends was just dog meat. But will I look back less fondly on 18? Absolutely not. Will I look less fondly on Kills? Not if I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. I've watched it 4 or 5 times. I love that movie, and it's one of my favorites. So for me, I guess I say that it is a trilogy. It's all a continued story. But just because the last chapter of the book is bad, it doesn't mean that the first 2 chapters were all of a sudden not good. I measure them on their own merits, right?
But the book isn't good.
Not necessarily. The ending may not be good.
What are you talking about? Right. So you're telling me you would go and read the book again? Even with
let me just throw one more
I guess
parallel.
I'm not speaking English.
Let me throw one more parallel out. That's like an album. Like you four songs, 4 or 5 songs out of 10 on an album, but you really love those 4 or 5 songs. Doesn't mean that because you have the other ones that you don't like the album. I mean, for some people, maybe they could feel that way, but I'm sure there's other people that will say, I really love those 4 or 5 songs, and that album is still special to me.
Yep.
Just as a music parallel.
That's a better analogy.
But it's hard. You can't really compare music to film.
But wait, I have a really good analysis here. Let's exactly. So one of my favorite shows of all time is Game of Thrones, and I think we all know where I'm going with this. If you've seen Game of Thrones, listen, I love this show. It is phenomenally written. It is amazing up until the last episode of season 7. Then after that, it just completely goes off the rails because those guys wanted to make Star Wars films. Guess what? They're not making Star Wars films now, which is hilarious. So.
Right.
I love that show though, nonetheless. I cannot deny that the first set, like some people think it like drops off after season 6, but honestly, I love Battle of the Bastards and all that, man. I'm not going to spoil anything, but season 1 through 7 of Game of Thrones is fucking phenomenal. I think it is insanely well written. And then 8, they kind of just didn't care because they wanted to go make Star Wars films. There's a million missed opportunities throughout that ending. Yeah. And what ultimately happens is just incredibly disappointing. I have since gone back and watched the first 7 seasons again because it's good storytelling. There's great stuff. There's some really interesting things that happen throughout that I really enjoy and I want to revisit because of those characters that I love so dearly. Some of the insane things that happen throughout the runtime of that show. I don't hate the show because of the ending. I just hate season 8. And with this, it's the same thing. It's like if Halloween Ends sucks, I hate Halloween Ends. I don't hate Halloween Kills, and I like Halloween 2018. It's like when you're reviewing a movie, man. If you're reviewing a movie, you don't want to just say, hey, it sucks because the ending sucked. If you're reviewing a movie, you want to say, okay, well, I didn't love this movie because the ending was kind of not for me, but I did like this, this, and this because those were other things you liked. Like any movie you can find, really, you can typically find something you like about the film, unless you're someone that just hates everything you watch. Like I just watched a movie the other day. This is the title of this movie. It's called Be My Cat, a film for Anne Hathaway. That is the title of this crazy found footage movie that I watched the other day. Yeah, it's out there. It is a weird found footage horror movie. And
Oh,
honestly,
God.
the first time I watched it, I hated it. I thought this is the biggest dump of poop that I have ever seen in my life. I watched it again, and honestly, I just put it on my letterbox. I was like 4.5 stars. This is one of the best found footage movies I've ever seen in my life.
Facts. That's my screen highlighted.
Yeah,
You didn't see the comment? Did you see the comment?
the toxic fandom
Yeah,
joke. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
We are that.
no, but my point is that you can't just judge something based off of one super strong thing. Like, also, if there's only one you can see that the other way around too. If there's one massive positive about a film, but everything else sucks, I'm not going to say the movie's great. I'm going to say like, oh, okay, well, it's like a 3 out of 10. If there's one really strong thing and then everything else kind of sucked, it's a case by case basis thing. You're not just
but
going to
it
hate
still
everything
affects-
for
but-
that.
But the thing that none of you are arguing is that it affects the entire package as a whole.
That's
you're
what I'm
highlighting,
arguing.
Like, yes,
That's
you're
exactly what
no,
I'm arguing.
No, because you're highlighting. Yes, like this book might be terrible, but it has its highlight moments. Of course, everything has good moments, but what we're talking about is Halloween 18 and Kills, however you felt about them. Let's say the whole world just agrees that they were the best movies ever, but Halloween Ends is absolute dog turd. It affects the way that you look at everything as a whole because it's essentially one book. Or if Halloween, okay, let me ask you this. If Halloween Ends, hang on, Craven, let me ask you a question. If Halloween Ends is absolutely terrible, I mean, it is just ridiculously terrible. Are you going to watch, every time you watch 18 and Kills, are you going to watch Halloween Ends? Because it's one story. So you need to know how it ends.
No, not necessarily.
Exactly. My point is
Because
Yeah, but listen, hold on.
Look at the entire thing.
But I'm still watching Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. That's the point I'm trying to make.
But you're not watching
too.
the entire story. It's like picking up a book and reading the first 2 chapters and going, okay, that's the end of the book for me because I only like those chapters. It affected the way that you looked at the entire book. That's my point exactly. Thank you. I win.
No,
No, you don't.
No,
But listen,
from it. These
but
are
that-
individual
that-
movies, guys.
Yes,
And
They're not
individual
individual.
movies.
It's all the
These are
same
individual
story.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna give you a couple examples. Star
You
Wars
guys are very good
Empire.
at debating.
Listen, Star Wars Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Did you like that trilogy?
Yes, I did.
What was the worst of the 3?
Star Wars.
Oh, come on.
This is like,
There's
come
one
on.
answer to this question.
There's one answer. And you know which one it is. Look,
You
you
know
know
what
you're
it is.
smiling. You know it's the one with the Ewoks.
He knows he's
Okay.
getting trapped. Come
Okay.
on. You're getting
Okay, hold
trapped.
on.
No, I'm not
Hold
getting
on.
trapped. I just
Hold
wanna
on.
make it- I just
Hold
wanna
on.
make it-
Listen.
No, it's the one with the Ewoks. I'm
Come
sorry.
on,
man.
no, yeah.
That's
So
good.
listen.
Okay, no, go ahead.
Well, hold on. Listen.
Seriously, though.
And,
Okay, go ahead.
and I'm not saying it was horrible, but it was obvious. Well,
Right.
most.
Yeah, it was
people.
the lesser of the 3. Yes, I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make you dislike A New Hope or Empire?
No, but it affects the overall.
There are,
story.
but that's the point we're saying is that if
Exactly.
Halloween Ends sucks, then
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be upset at it, and I'll look at this trilogy that they didn't stick the landing, but I still like. Well, for me, I still love 2018 and Kills, and I'm still.
Can I
gonna
give a
watch
hot
it.
take?
Yes.
Can I
But
give a
it's
hot take?
but hang on, but real quick, because his argument still doesn't answer my question. Which
What do you mean? You
doesn't
just
look-
answered it.
That,
No,
it's
all
just-
answered
we're just
the
looking
same
at this
thing.
from 2 different
No,
viewpoints, I
is.
think,
because
Tyler.
if
Like,
none of
I
you,
don't know
none
what
of you
else
have
to say.
admitted. All of you have admitted for everything else except for this trilogy of Halloween Ends that if Halloween Ends is bad, it will make you look at everything else differently. You have all said that
you're
yes,
looking at it as
does
one
affect-
full story, though. If I
Right.
just watch Halloween 2018, that's a story. If I just
Then I'm
watch
done.
Halloween 2018 and Halloween
Yes.
Kills,
But
that's
it's
a
not
story.
just this, but it's one fluid
Sure it is.
story. It's
Yeah,
not.
no.
It's not
Yeah.
like it's not like you can watch 18 and that's the end of the story. It doesn't.
You
have
can
it-
watch Game of
Absolutely.
Thrones up until the end of season 7 and say that's a story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, but it is though in many ways.
I think so. I think what
My
it is,
favorite
guys,
because the
for
Ewoks.
those in the live chat, I think what you're experiencing here is a fundamental differing view of how to view a trilogy. And
Right.
I think that what you're seeing that not that either one of us are right or wrong. They're just different views. So
Right.
I understand, Fate, your position. I get what you're saying, and I think what my position is, and I think Knight and Jake, we all. I'll speak for myself. My position is just that I understand what you're saying, but I view it differently. See, I don't have that same idea when I look at a trilogy to think that they all have to hit, or the story's not going to. It's going to change how I view the other movies. For me, I can appreciate 18 if I never saw another one. I wouldn't have to see kills even, and I still would like 18 the same way. That's what I'm getting at. See, I just view it differently. So it's just a fundamental difference.
I'm not arguing though that you can't like each film in its own way. Like I liked 18, but I hated Halloween Kills.
Right.
And Halloween Ends, whether it's good or bad, I'm still gonna feel how I feel about Halloween Kills. But what you guys are arguing is that Halloween Ends, no matter how it ends. Like, what happens if it just completely retcons the last two films? I'm not saying it would do that, but I'm saying what happens if it just completely shits on the last two films? You're telling me you're not going to look at the overall package as a whole? Of course you are. You're trying to deny that Halloween Ends will have absolutely no effect.
Okay, don't you think it's hang on. Quick argument, and then I kind of want to change the subject because we've been talking about this for 30 minutes. One last thing I want to bring up, and I swear to God, I'm done with this argument because we fundamentally view trilogies differently. But isn't it kind of hypocritical for you to say like that you're pumped for Halloween Ends if you didn't like Halloween Kills? Then that kind of goes against your argument. Then, like if you hated Halloween Kills. I feel like if you don't like that movie, though, what's the point of even watching the next one?
The trilogy is already messed up for you. If
it is. It's already tampered. But here's the thing.
But you're still going into Halloween Ends. You still want to see that?
Yes, because I want to know what the conclusive ending is, and you can still have, because I liked 18, right? So 18 was great. I thought it was a great establishment. Was it one of the best Halloween movies ever? No, but for what it was, I enjoyed it. Halloween Kills, I just thought was a mess of a movie that didn't need to happen. And so, of course, it's going to make me look at the film overall. I bet you after Halloween Ends is finished, I bet you could watch 18 and Ends and not have to watch Kills. I bet you anything. I bet you anything.
Are we going
Let's make a bet right now.
I will make that bet.
On a live stream, I guarantee you that's not going to be the case.
They have been setting up. There's so much setup and kills though for stuff that I think is going to happen. Like something we haven't even touched on this live stream yet is Dr. Mathis. Who is Dr. Mathis? That is set up in Halloween Kills, and I believe I could be wrong. I'll say that on the record, but I believe he's going to be a massive part of Halloween Ends one way or another. There's a throwaway line in Halloween Kills between Vanessa and Marcus. They're the lovely couple at the bar who is kind of getting annoyed by the legacy characters, and they end up going along for the ride, and they both unfortunately die in the middle of this movie. But there's a throwaway line where Vanessa says to Marcus, "There's a." Damn, throwing me off my argument here. But I think he's getting scared, guys.
I'm getting all the love in the chat is for me. So I'm loving it.
There's a throwaway line from Vanessa where she says to Marcus, "Hey, you got to stand up to Dr. Mathis. You let him walk all over you and do whatever." Mm-hmm. There's also a line in the novelization of Halloween Kills where they specifically go a little deeper into that conversation. They talk about how this Dr. Mathis character invited both of them to a swingers party. I don't know about you, but with the very, very little things we know about this doctor character, he's giving me villain vibes. Like I'm getting like some kind of like side villain kind of character vibes from this. I think that would be sick to see in Halloween Ends, and I think that's a very important, very, very important thing that they're setting up in this film for the next movie. So and my can I say one more thing? And I swear to God,
go.
Okay, my theory is that he's going to be a psychologist because we don't know. To my knowledge, I don't think we know what kind of doctor he is. So my guess is that he's going to be Laurie Strode's shrink. Do you know?
He is a love doctor.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Dr. Love.
Wow.
It's the ladies' man.
Oh, yeah, we're going to swing it.
Swinging doctor.
Give me a fish and ham cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
No, but
all right, listen.
Real quick. What I was gonna say, like, let me clarify. Okay, when it comes to Halloween Ends,
or Michael,
I do I think that there will be elements of Halloween Kills in Ends? Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, I bet you that you could watch Halloween 18 and watch Halloween Ends and not ever see Halloween Kills, and it won't matter. you'll still understand the story. You'll still there might be a piece here and there, you know, maybe like a little subtle
He's gonna
moment
die
here and
on
there.
this hill,
But
man.
I think
He's
overall,
dying.
You
That's-
are, man.
Yeah, he's gonna die on this hill, bro.
I think overall,
I just disagree, man.
All right, so
I don't know.
listen.
we'll
listen, let
find
me say
out.
this.
We'll find
All right,
out.
let me
Yeah,
say
we'll find
this.
out. You're right. You're right. Let's
You
find
will
out
find
in
out.
October.
And let me
October
just say
14th.
this, and I'm going to jump in because we got to go right end this stream because I've got another stream.
Do we?
But
We
it
gotta
looks
wrap it.
it looks like
Do we though?
it looks like we have to do a part 2 to this or something.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what it
yeah.
looks like. So what we'll do, we will plan to do a part 2 to this Halloween end / resurrection / H2O / whatever
Pizza time.
discussion, pizza time discussion.
Yeah.
We will do that next Friday.
Oh,
So-
I'm gonna miss it. Oh, you guys have fun.
Let us
Oh,
know in
crap,
the comments
that's right.
who you think won this debate. Fate decided.
Yeah, let us know.
Or the
in
others.
this is what I want to know for you guys in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Please give
Yes,
the
we
video a like. But in the comment section, let us know when you watch a trilogy. If you do not like the third movie in the trilogy, if that makes you hate 1 and 2,
Or
us
any
know.
movie for that matter. Any movie in the trilogy. If that's too much of a turd in the punch bowl and ruins the punch. Does it? Or does it not?
That's
Can you
right.
get around the
And-
turd? Can you take
And I'm looking at you, Alien 3, Terminator 3, Return of the Jedi, The Godfather 3. I mean, come on. Anyways, all right, guys, we're gonna head on out. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We will catch you later. The collective has spoken. Have a good night. Peace out.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Peace.